The selection of the termination of the joint is important. So always make sure that you select the right joint for the purpose that you're going to do. You'll see that every joint has got a marking whereby it will say exactly for what purpose this termination or joint would be used. When opening a termination, always make sure that the termination and the components are in good condition. Unpack the box in order for you to do an audit on the products. The most important product in the termination or a joint is the installation instructions. So now you've got the installation instructions, and then you have to sit down and make sure that you familiarize yourself with you must familiarize yourself with the dimensions so that you make sure that you got the correct dimensions. So this is a 12 kV. So you mark your 12 kV. Then you look at all the dimensions given. So that will be distance L. So you look for distance L. There's distance L is 450. And then I normally write that 450 in. Right? Then you look for the next distance. That will be distance S. Find distance S. That's distance S. It's 150. Then you would write. This is a problem with a hand, with a glove. So it's much easier to write is 150 and distance D. Here's distance D is 130. That is 80. So the total distance from you add it up as 80 plus 450. And that one is 25. So that total distance will be 550. So now you know that is the total distance that you are going. Take your measurements. Take your measuring tape. Get your correct measurements in. That's 80 millimeters, so that is your 550. So this is where you're going to do the cut during. It's very important when you cut that you only cut 50% into the armoring, because when you remove the outer sheath, then it'll be easy to bend the armoring. So concentrate that you get a nice clean cut, which is evenly and which is exactly nice and round. But always remember, cut away from your body. Don't cut towards your body, or stand to the side and cut away from your body. When you remove the armoring, don't try and use too much at one time. Use between 4 and 5 of the armoring and use the back and forward motion to remove it. If your cut was done correctly, it'll come off nice and neat and it won't be disformed. And remember, always keep the work area clean. Go to your next mark, your 80, and you can remove the outer sheath. Now we will remove the inner bedding to expose the cable. Here you must take care not to cut in too deep, because you can cut into the conductors. Use your Stanley knife, make a nice clean cut. Removing the core fillers. Take 2 or 3 of these fillers together. Let's say I'll take 3 of them. And you twist it. You twist the filler nice and tight. Then you pull it back and you use your side cutter. You can see that the ends, the copper sheet is coming loose at the ends. So what you must do is now take PVC tape. Always tape in the same direction as the copper tape. As you can see, I don't use my gloves because our hands have to be clean. The gloves, I mean, sweet gloves. The gloves are very dirty, so you cannot work on the inner core with the dirty gloves. Make a little bit, open it nice, put it on the cable, use a constant force spring. Make sure it looks that way. Put the moisture sealer. Moisture sealer here. Very important. If you look at that, that is the moisture sealer, this one here, and that will fit over there. So if you cover this sharp edge there, moist sealer. There's the moist sealer here. important to use that part of the frame, that block, not this one. Okay, you look at the installation instruction again. You can look at the distance from there to there. You look at that distance in the installation instruction. Distance is 20. You use the round file. Because the round file will give it a nice screen cut. So use your finger, the guide. The scoring tool, it's preset so it won't damage the XLPE. top. Here we go. Okay. This one is very hard to strip, so you need to heat up, but don't just overheat it. Just heat the semicon just a little bit so that you can remove it, just a little bit. Yeah. Okay, so this is now a semicon peeler. It's a tool that you can use to remove the semicon. It's got a cutting blade, and here you do your settings. As you can see, you do your settings there. So it's been preset at 1 millimeter. So this is the handle for turning, and that is to lock it in position. So what you do is get it in position with your cutting blade. Make sure it's tight. Lock. And then you start turning. Then you can see the tram lines, the cutting lines. There you can see it's slowly removing, scorching. It's just scorching the semicon. Okay. Right. You must inspect it. Inspect the conductors to see if there's any damage. And if there's any damage, you must use the sandpaper to repair the damage there. I got some damage where I used a knife. So all I do is I will then use the sandpaper. Then, in order to get a nice finish, a very smooth finish, I take the sandpaper and I turn the sandpaper around, and then I polish or glaze so that it looks smooth. Right, I will take the sandpaper, I'll turn it around, and I glaze it. Right, there you can see it's nice and smooth, and the damage is now repaired. Now you must clean your hands, and now you're going to start cleaning the cleaning process. So you can see my hands were very dirty. I've now cleaned my hands. At least my hands are now clean. There you can see the dirt. Clean off, and you always clean from the front to the end, because this is where the most contamination occurs with. So you take your pull it around, and in one movement, clean. And there you can see. Okay, so you turn the paper around, take this one, clean it the same. That one, you take a new one, take a new cloth, that's it. Okay, make sure that you clean and make sure that you read the instructions. Make sure that that this is your screen cut, which is the most important point, so that when you do wrap the void filler tape, that you fill the voids in case. So first you have to remove that, and I'll use the void filler tape to keep the copper shield in position. Stretch the void filler tape to make sure it's nice and flexible. See, it must have the correct measurements, so that is correct. So I just need a little bit more void filler tape. And there you are. I'm going to show you, if you've got a lot of tape, I'm going to show you the other method, that's one way, and the other one I'm going to also show you when you've got a lot of tape. So then what you do, make sure that the overlap is 10. Overlap is 10. And there can you see the two different methods. If you haven't got enough tape, you can, the function of this tape here is just to keep the copper shield in position. And this is the function of the void filler tape here, is to eliminate. As you'll see, the copper shield didn't tear nice here. So you can't leave it like that. You have to repair it. So what you do is you take your knife, you set your knife up against it, you lift it, you put your knife against that, and you just lift your knife. There you got a nice cut. Now, That's it. Now you've done your void for the tape. Now you will do the tubes. Take it off. You look at the installation instruction. Look at that distance there, from there to there. Now, to stress relief. Right, you'll see it's very tight fit. Doesn't get it over, so then you would use a grease. Now if the tubes is position, now we will shrink it. Right, so we have to fit the lug now. So what we do is we measure the lug. The measurement is 30. Take the knife, just to start off. Take the groove. Then you take your rope. And you're cutting with the rope. The reason why we cut with the rope, we don't want to damage the copper conductor with a knife or any. You'll use your Stanley knife now to remove that. You're going to cut at the angle. Alright, I've cut. Right, now you can see water compliance. Now you must look at the direction of the copper wire, the way the copper wire is turned, and you remove the edge. Now I'm just going to pencil the edge, but I'm going to use a small pencil just on the edge with the knife. You can also use the XLP cutter. It's got a setting whereby you do the correct setting. It's got a cutting edge, so you can put it over. Just make sure you tie it very tight, correct. correct size. Okay. You always crimp from the front to the back. You never crimp at the end. So my next crimp will be this section here. There's the two crimps. So you're going to have sharp edges, which you will smooth out later with a file. And then again clean. Moisture block. You always must remember to remove the paper. And this is the glue side that will cause a watertight seal on your boot.